Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast, the #1 source for proven solutions to all your marketing challenges.
Welcome back to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. Today, we're cutting through the noise and getting straight to the strategies that actually grow your business. Are you one of those entrepreneurs that pour your time and money into marketing tactics without a clear plan, leaving you frustrated and wondering why your efforts aren't paying off? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. James Hipkin comes in with over 40 years of experience in marketing and advertising. James has helped countless businesses transform their website into powerful revenue generating tools. Since 2010, he's been focused on digital marketing that actually works, using common sense, jargon-free strategies that help make sense for business owners at any level. James is here to talk about digital marketing tactics that every small business should focus on. How do you use AI to identify and nurture your most profitable customers? And the secrets to building marketing ecosystems that drive long-term growth. If you want to stop wasting money on random tactics and start turning your website into a lead-generating powerhouse, you don't want to miss this conversation. So get ready to take some notes, get your pen and paper out, and let's now welcome James. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Marco, I'm super happy to be here. It's going to be a fun conversation, and I'm looking forward to it.
You bet, man, James. This is a very hot topic for our community of thousands of entrepreneurs that use the Marketing Boost service and others that are checking us out and so on. But a common denominator, as we mentioned before we started recording here, is they all need marketing and they all need to improve sales tactics and marketing skills. So let's take it away. James, tell us your story first. How did you get to become a expert to start offering your services to others?
Well, my last digital assignment was managing the digital budget for Toyota in Northern California. And it was fascinating work, and I have stories to tell about that experience. But I had an opportunity to purchase a vendor. This was a digital production studio that I was using to execute a lot of the work we were doing for Toyota. And the owner wanted to move on to other things, and I wanted to get out of the rat race of the ad agency world. I was basically aging out of the agency world. And when I look at most businesses in the digital marketing world, you only own two assets. You own your website and you own your list. Everything else is rented land. And most of the websites that I saw are terrible. And the reason they're terrible is an absence of strategy. And I'll give you an example of this. When I interview a business owner, I'll ask them, so what's the primary objective of your website? And I'll usually get a litany of things that they want the website to do, and we'll have a quick chat about the definition of the word primary. There can only be one. And they'll normally settle on conversion. That's almost always wrong. Conversion is clearly part of it, but your primary objective from the visitor's point of view is not conversion, it's confirmation. They're going to the website to confirm that you, in fact, understand their problem, have a valid solution for their problem, and that solution is believable. Because strategically, the consumer has their need set and are on their journey, and your marketing needs to support that journey versus interrupting that journey. And if you lead with, buy now, click here, etc., that's not what they're looking for. You are throwing dissonance in, and you are not supporting the journey that they are on. That's an example of an absence of strategy. If you understand who your consumers are, the avatar, and you've mapped their buyer's journey, the kinds of questions they're trying to ask, they're going to ask, the kinds of obstacles they're trying to overcome. That's strategy. Strategy focuses on who and why. The marketing plan, which is not the same as the marketing strategy, the marketing plan focuses on how and when. So the combination of the avatar, who and why, and the buyer's journey, how and when, are the fundamental building blocks that you can use to create a digital marketing program that will actually create value for your customers as well as value for your business.
Very interesting. So the avatar is who are you targeting, who and why. Try to narrow that down. And then it's the strategy of, let's see here, hang on a moment. The strategy of how and when. You called that the strategy, correct?
That's the plan.
The plan, better said.
Yeah, the strategy is who and why. So you understand who you're talking to and what their problem is. Why are they in the market? Because I mean, another principle is the best marketing in the world is not going to change a consumer's need state. If they don't need what you're selling, it doesn't matter how good your marketing is, they're not going to see it. It's just going to be lost in the noise. But when they're ready, when they're open to this, something's happened in their life that has caused them to think, I need to fix this. Then you want to be there, but you want to be there with a message that's appropriate to where they are in their heads. That's how you attract the right people for the right reasons.
So in your 40 years and some of the other interviews that you've been on that I've listened to, you often talk about business owners get distracted by tactics instead of focusing on this strategy. Can you define that or dive a little deeper? I mean, we just now talked about strategy, who and why, and the plan, but what do you mean by they get distracted by tactics instead of focusing on the strategy?
Well, I sometimes call it checkboxism, right? They've been told they need a website, so they get their nephew to make them a website, and they look, okay, there's the website. I have a website, check the box. Somebody else has told them they need to be on TikTok, so they go on TikTok and they see I'm on TikTok, or I'm on Instagram, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. And each of these tactical elements might be valid, but they're not being done for a strategic reason. They're being done because somebody told them that they should do them. Right? So that's where the strategy leads into the plan. If you have a strategy, then you can reallocate your resources against what's necessary to deliver the strategy. And that means a lot of stuff falls off the table because it really is a waste of time and energy. The other leg in our three-legged stool, if you've got the strategy and the plan, the third leg in our three-legged stool is measurement. Are you in fact measuring all of the activity that you're doing so that you know what is contributing, what is working? I mean, we see this all the time when we audit marketing programs. They're doing all this stuff and we'll ask the question, so what's working? They have no idea. They just know that there's lots of stuff and I'm getting lots of vanity, and then they'll start quoting vanity metrics at us. Don't care. I don't care. And the consumers don't care. What's actually achieving your goals from a business perspective and from a marketing perspective, and what is actually creating value for your audience. So understand who they are, build a plan that creates value for the consumers. That's what will create value for your business, and measure everything.
Cool. Good stuff. Hey, we'll be right back, folks. Don't go away. We'll be right back to talk about the power of a website as a revenue generating tool. And we'll be right back. Go away.
It's time to wow, surprise, and impress your clients with the most powerful customer draw card available anywhere. The Marketing Boost Solutions Show is brought to you by Marketing Boost, where you can get valuable travel and restaurant incentives to drive your leads from prospects to paying customers. Now you can offer complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations worldwide. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com and try it for free right now.
So we're back with James Hipkin, and I want to talk into the power of your website as a revenue generating tool. James, many business owners see their website as just an online brochure, but you believe it should be a lead generating machine. What is the key to making that shift?
Well, the first thing you want to do, and this is a little controversial, Marco, so buckle up. I need people to stop saying call to action.
If you say so.
I told you it was controversial.
Okay.
But let me tell you what I
Yes,
mean.
sir.
Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you're building marketing using an outside-in strategy, understanding who your consumer is, understanding the journey that they are on, a call to action from the consumer's point of view is a marketer shouting at people and telling them what to do. People don't want to be shouted at. They don't want to be told what to do. What I'm recommending is that you, on your website, you probably have 2 or 3 subsegments that make up the majority of your best customers. Build pathways on the homepage for those subsegments. I call them people like you pathways that call out to the subsegment and invite them to follow the pathway. Now, functionally, a pathway and a call to action are exactly the same thing. But the mindset shift is really important because, as I said, a call to action is a marketer shouting at someone and telling them what to do. A pathway is a marketer inviting a subsegment of their audience to follow a pathway and learn more information. And when they choose that pathway, 2 really powerful things have happened. They've told you exactly who they are by virtue of the people like you pathway they selected, and they've given you permission to give them more information. They're leaning forward because they don't feel like they've been shouted at, they've been invited. They are open to what it is that you have to say to them. Now, conversion is going to happen and will probably happen more efficiently as a result of this, but the conversion stops being a sale and starts being the next logical step in the consumer's journey. And again, that shift is what generates, because as you probably appreciate, Marco, the most important sale is not the first sale. It's the second sale. Because if you can sell something to someone twice, the chances you'll sell a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time increase exponentially. But if you've tricked somebody into buying something, your chances of selling them again are very low. If you've invited them to solve their problem with your products or services, your chances of selling them a second or a third and a fourth time are increased exponentially. So it's a very different way of thinking about it. It uses all the same tools that you've always used traditionally. You know, let's talk a little bit about what you do. One of the relationship marketing principles that I wrote back in the 1990s, and that still ranked on page 1 of Google, is good customers expect to be rewarded. Now, I didn't say bribed. I said rewarded. They know that they're good customers. You need to recognize that you know that they're good customers too. And that's where incentives and the kinds of things that you talk about become very valuable. If you're just doing it because everybody says you need to do it, that's tactics. If you're doing it because you have a plan for how am I going to nurture the 20% of customers that represent 80% of my sales, how am I going to treat them special? How am I going to reward them for their great loyalty to me? It's exactly the same thing, except that my approach is strategic versus just throwing stuff out there at the world at large.
Without
And
without a plan. Yep.
yep, without a plan.
So, with that said, what do you say some of the biggest mistakes you see businesses making on their websites that don't invite people down that pathway? And okay, you're describing it as the trying to push them to a call to action. So we want to get the call to action mindset out of the way and be more inviting to I mean, like, for example, what do you think of funnels versus website? The big push for quite some time now, starting since ClickFunnels many years ago, is, it's not a website, it's a sales funnel and
Yeah, well,
versus a website. So what are your thoughts on the two?
couple of things. There's a lot of misconceptions out there that have been created by what I call the bro marketing crowd. Um, a marketing funnel, everything I've talked about so far is a marketing funnel. And a marketing funnel is not the same as a sales funnel. It's like a bow tie. The marketing funnel starts big, goes down to the conversion event, the purchase, and the sales funnel is how you increase the average order value of your customer. So they're separate things. And you want to think about them. They're connected. It's like a bow tie, right? They're connected where the initial purchase is the knot in the middle, but they're not the same things. And if you think about them that way, then stuff starts to become clear. ClickFunnels is not really a funnel. It's really just a fancy way of creating a landing page. And the reality is that a well-built website can generate a landing page as easily as paying another $100 a month to ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or whatever. There are all a bunch of them out there. And it's these islands are what business owners need to avoid. 99.
Well, here's how I would describe it and see if you agree. It depends on, for example, we have a website, and if I follow your logic, and I think I agree with it wholeheartedly, if I have you have a website, and then you want to do people like you go here, so you have a series of navigation buttons on your website. So you might have people that are interested in this going there, or they're going, if you're interested in that, going here, or if you're a plumber, go here. If you're an agency, go there, or that type of scenario.
Right.
And then once they've accepted your invitation and gone to one of those more niche need or problem solving niches, now they're in your marketing funnels exclusive to that problem that you're solving. And they're
Exactly.
going down that, they're going, yeah.
And
So
the
your
page
website,
the page that they land on is structured like a sales landing page.
right. And then
Right.
so you could be driving traffic directly to that sales funnel page. If your if your online marketing is saying, hey, dentists, you've got this problem, we solve it, click here. Now they're not going to your main website. That's the brochure, so to speak, that's got everything you do and all of the distractions that are going to lose your client. So if you're marketing to a specific, go to your main website, they see everything you do, and they might find your niche invitations to learn more about this problem that we solve or that problem that we solve. Am I following you on how you?
Yes, that's exactly it. You use these pages within the context of the funnel. So if you are attracting a particular subsegment through your marketing, you don't send them to your homepage. You send them to a page that's dedicated to that subsegment. It's the homepage is for typically referral traffic. in the sense that somebody was talking to their friend and mentioned that they're trying to figure this out, and the friend says, well, I've had great success with Marco and his products. You need to go and check him out. And they'll do a search, they'll find your website, they'll go to your homepage, and that's referral traffic versus traffic that's been generated by specific marketing activities. For example, if you're doing content marketing, you might be writing articles targeting informational keywords and then you're promoting those articles in social media. Like one of the channels that we use often for a lot of clients is Pinterest. Pinterest is unique in that it is also a powerful search engine, and it is the only social media channel that rewards content for link clicks. Facebook doesn't want you to, they'll downgrade your content if you put a link in it. Instagram, like LinkedIn, all of them. Whereas Pinterest, if your content is getting clicks, they'll push it harder. So it's, so you want to, but don't want to be sending that traffic to the homepage. You want to send it to a traffic page that has been carefully crafted to answer the questions that this consumer is asking. And you can't answer those questions if you don't understand who the consumer is.
Especially if you're using paid traffic, then you want to get it to the page that is targeting what problem is that you solve. Folks, we'll be right back. We're going to come back and talk about AI and the digital marketing strategy using AI. We'll be right back.
Is your business on autopilot yet? Do you have automation in place to capture, nurture, and convert prospects into clients via email, SMS, ringless voicemails, appointment setting? Get all the inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on automating your business so you can make money while you sleep.
Folks, you just heard from automationbooster.com. We were just talking about building websites, building landing pages, funnels. That's another product Marketing Boost offers to our members. You can get automationbooster.com, a platform that we help you build your sales funnels, build your website, build your unique sales funnel landing pages like we're talking about. These funnels and these templates that we provide you we have hundreds of them that are included free that help give you examples of how to integrate these Marketing Boost incentives into your sales process to get people to take the call to action you want, such as book a no obligation Zoom call and show up on time for the appointment, and we'll reward you with a $200 hotel savings card, and on and on. We got a whole lot of that there. Go check out automationbooster.com. Quick thing, I've been an internet marketer since 1996. I've never seen a product as complete as Automation Booster, where you have all your inbound and all your outbound marketing tools in one place for your email, texting, voicemail broadcasting, the sales funnel builder, your calendars, your reminder messages, all in one simple place at one amazing low price. Automationbooster.com. We're back with James Hipkin, and we're talking now about AI and digital marketing strategy. AI is obviously shaking up the marketing world. How can business users use AI effectively to identify and nurture their most profitable customers?
Well, I'll give you an example that echoes what we were talking about earlier. If you're trying to attract people, the best way to attract people is to resonate with the problems that they're trying to solve. How do you find out what those problems might be? Well, almost every business, there's probably a subreddit where a whole lot of people are in there talking about this particular category. I have a client who is a psychologist, and he is focused on a very specific group within the Myers-Briggs world called the INFJ. There is an INFJ subreddit. We used AI to crawl that subreddit and pull out of that subreddit the 12 most commonly asked questions in And we're talking thousands and thousands of people, right? And then what were the most commonly answered answers? Well, those 12 commonly asked questions and answers, plus the content that we had from the several books that our client has written, allowed us to build a year's worth of content marketing.
Wow.
If you tried to do that manually, you'd still be trying to figure out what people are talking about. That's one example of the tactical use of, but that tactical use of AI was within the context of a strategy. Another tactical use of AI that we're using is we've developed a product called Marketing Sage Advantage. I'm not trying to be pitchy here. That's not the goal. But the reality is, if you are going to have an avatar and a journeys map, that, you know, this is not, you can guess at it. But as soon as you as a business owner are trying to guess at it, you are injecting all of your biases into the process. What we've developed is we have a guided interview guide, an interview guide that you can use. If you interview 6 to 10 of your best customers using the guide and you record those interviews, you give us the audio files. We put the audio files into an AI model that we have built, tested, proven, and the AI model analyzes the transcripts from all of those interviews and generates an avatar and a buyer's journey map that a business owner can use to build their marketing strategy and their marketing plan. Because it's the garbage in, garbage out thing, right? If you don't have that clarity and that from real customers using real language, you're just guessing at stuff. And guessing is not a way to do marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said before, the third leg in our three-legged stool is measurement. Measurement is data. So we also try to put data into the front end of this thing as well. And that's what Marketing Sage Advantage does, is it allows a business owner to use their own customers to give them the strategic insights that they need to build a strategy and a plan that will actually create value for their customers.
Folks, if you happen to be watching us on YouTube or Rumble versus listening on the podcast, we are now looking at James, one of James's main website here. I believe this is your main website, is it not? In8ly.com?
Innately, yes. It's in like the inn, we take care of you. It's a little
Froze
bit of a
up.
pun.
You froze up on me there, James. Can you say it again?
Innately is it's spelled INN like the inn because we take care of you. And our tagline is websites without worry, which is another little play on words because websites without worry is www.
Very cool. www.in8ly.com.
Yeah.
And on here is where they can reach you and learn about building the perfect website that helps you become a lead generating machine, as you put it, if I recall. And is that service you just described, your AI tool, available here as well, or?
Yes, it is. If you type in marketingsageadvantage.com, that will take you to the landing page, which is also a good example of what we were talking about before, right? Marketingsageadvantage.com, it will redirect to a landing page inside of the website.
Cool. I'll pull that up in a minute. So let me ask you on that. I mean, that was a great idea that your product does. So you give us a series of questions to call our best clients, a series of them, ask them a series of questions, record it, turn that over to your AI, and then that's going to help me develop more of a plan of how I should target more people similar to my existing top customers or what have you.
Right. Because
That
you're going to be talking about stuff that matters to them, and you're going to be using language that they can recognize.
Absolutely. So next question I have for you, I mean, and that is a very practical idea, and it's a very, makes you really realize how AI, unlike just asking ChatGPT to write you your email messages or or others. It's to actually take content from your customers and turn it into how you're going to target more customers like that. Um, Moving on to the subject of practical actionable advice. If a business owner only has a budget of a smaller bandwidth, uh, what should they invest in first?
I would suggest that they should invest in measurement first.
And
Because,
what are some of the measurement tools that you recommend?
well, it's been around forever. It's called the UTM code. If you build out a plan for UTM tracking, um, that's if you've seen a URL and you've noticed that at the end of the last slash, there's a question mark and then a bunch of other information. That question mark, bunch of other information, that's a tracking pixel. And that's how marketers are measuring and tracking. So if you start adding UTM tracking pixels to all of your links in your activity, and then you can use Google Analytics, which is a free tool, to analyze what traffic is coming from what sources. And you can start to track the behavior of those people and what they're doing on your website. So the first thing I would recommend is start measuring what it is you're doing. And very quickly, you will see stuff that, I'm spending a lot of money on that, and it's really not generating any kind of results. Maybe I should stop spending money on that. And then, look over here. This channel is generating a lot of activity and turning into a lot of leads and customers. Maybe I should spend more money there.
Yeah, absolutely. Before when you're just throwing money at the wall and hoping something sticks, and maybe something is sticking, but if you don't know where it's coming from that's sticking, then you don't know to throw more money at that and turn
Right.
off money and either turn off or spend less elsewhere. So it is imperative that you have the ability to track, and it's not always that easy, but so you getting it done right, it's worth investing in somebody who knows what he's doing to help you make sure all of your landing pages, your sign up pages, your thank you pages have the tracking pixels correctly. In some cases, if I'm not, I'm no expert at this, but in some cases it requires the unique tracking pixel. For example, if you're running Facebook ads, you need the Facebook pixel on your landing page.
If you're using Google AdWords, the same thing. You need all of that is
so
aspects of measurement.
Right. So there's different tracking pixels from different sources of ad purchases that you need to have placed correctly on your website that trigger the call. When somebody landed on your thank you page, that means they bought, and you can add enough tracking pixels to figure out what they bought. Did they buy your entry level product? Did they have, and all this is now being captured in a Google Analytics or other software that can really make it easy to make decisions on what you're doing next. So get that done right. Get the tracking pixels done right. And I don't recommend you do it on your own unless you're quite savvy with coding and what have you. So hire the right people, get it done right, and then you can start testing ad spends on different campaigns.
Right.
Now, many entrepreneurs struggle with turning their website into actually generating paying customers. What are some of the simple ways that they can increase conversions?
Well, one of the things I talk about is the 6 ways to engage a website visitor in 6 seconds or less. And 6 seconds is not a lot of seconds. And that's why the first way may surprise you, but the 6 seconds doesn't start when the page loads. The 6 seconds starts when the page is asked for. And if your page loads is taking 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds, you've just used up half of your allotment. The next thing is they're instinctively asking themselves, am I in the right place? So if they've clicked on an ad with a particular headline against a particular thing, your landing page needs to echo that headline and that thing. If they clicked on an ad that features, reds and blacks, Your landing page needs to feature reds and blacks. You don't want them thinking about whether or not they're in the right place. That needs to be instantaneous. You know, when I took over the digital budget for the Toyota assignment, one of the first things I concentrated on. Everybody was focused on trying to optimize the AdWords spend, and they were getting 1-2% improvements, and they were all very proud about this. And I'm like, has anybody looked at the landing pages? Well, that didn't interest the media people particularly. So we went and looked at the landing pages, and we started doing A/B split testing on the landing pages and started optimizing landing pages. We were able to improve conversion by 60% by optimizing the landing pages. 60% improvement is a whole lot better than 2% improvement.
Oh, you must have got a pay raise,
Right?
I hope.
Yeah. So the third way is recognize that they are on their journey. Give them a benefit-oriented reason to stay. Don't stand on your rooftop shouting about how awesome you are. Make it very clear that you understand the problem that they are trying to solve. There's a very famous copywriting framework called PASS, and that's an acronym. It stands for problem, agitate the problem, solve the problem. And you'll see the PASS framework being used in professionally developed ads in magazines and TV spots and all over the place when you start thinking about it. And it's famous and well used because it works. And yet most websites don't do it.
And what was that third? What was the title of that third thing again? Kind of missed it.
PASS.
PASS.
PAS.
Okay.
Problem, agitate the problem, solve the problem. So your messaging structure in the hero section of your home should lead with the problem, the benefit that you offer, and then the solution you have. And then the fourth thing is give people reasons to believe. Why are you a credible choice? Get that rich testimonial high on the page. Put those cred logos immediately below the hero thing. I have a client who's a consultant. He works with large corporations. He's a coach. But his main client is, the C-suite at Apple. How much credibility does it give him when you've got Apple's logo on the top of his page?
Absolutely.
Right? So get that reason to believe high up in the page. And then make the content easy to consume. Pay attention to visual hierarchy. Most people read a website from the upper left-hand corner to the lower right-hand corner. That means put your image or your video on the left and put your copy and the button on the right. Don't bury your button in the lower left-hand corner of the page because that's the least eye-track spot on the page.
Mm-hmm.
Right? One of the things we learned from the work that we did with Toyota was we sponsored eye tracking studies, and I could see how people's eyes were tracking across the page. And we just started shifting content around to match how people actually consumed the page. And it's amazing the results we got.
So James just mentioned a minute ago. Yeah, that's true. That software to track where people's eyes go and everything else is a huge tool. We've used it before and very effectively. But on a subject of social proof and testimonials, how high on the list do you think that is for a business owner to improve their conversions?
I think it's very high. But the thing is, this is a quality over quantity conversation. Sticking 6 testimonials in a carousel at the bottom of your page is a waste of digital real estate. One testimonial that's very, very powerful and germane to what the kinds of things that your customer is asking, high on the page is enough. What you want to do is you want to support their journey. You don't want
with the testimonial concerning that particular area. I mean, if you may have 3 testimonials on the page, but maybe put strategically based on what it is your thought problem solves and how this testimonial covers that particular problem.
Exactly. And if somebody picks a pathway, the landing page, you need to repeat this whole exercise. Every single major page on the website needs to follow this structure.
On that subject, folks, I want to tell you about something I've been really excited about. We have launched a new product here right now. It's barely in beta, but it's called trustbyreviews.com. And we have solved a problem for you to help you solicit more consistent reviews. You know, happy customers expect to be happy. Happy customers don't go typically and go out of their way to write you a review. So if you're not actively soliciting reviews, you're likely only to be getting the negative ones. If you're doing a lot of business, you're bound to have somebody sooner or later that wasn't thrilled or didn't understand the terms and conditions and upset and makes a complaint. And now that's what lives on the internet forever, is these few negative complaints that start popping up. So in order to maintain and control your online reputation, you need to be soliciting a consistent flow of new and hopefully positive reviews. Hopefully you're doing your business right and you got a constant flow of reviews. Well, Trust by Reviews helps you solve that problem and can help you literally reward customers who for posting these reviews on multiple third-party websites. So we can help you drive reviews to Google, to Facebook, to Trustpilot, to SiteJabber, etc., and pretty much force Google to see all of these reviews for your product or service coming through various third-party review sites. When people search for your brand, boom, they're going to see all of these review sites popping up, and you are going to end up getting the clicks you want and the social proof built in. And then you can take your best reviews and do what James just mentioned. Take this review about this product and put it on this page and so on. But you got to have the reviews, and they got to be real. And they got to be relevant, and they have to be, new. I mean, if your last review was 2022, it doesn't mean much, when people are looking for stuff. They need to see reviews from last week, ideally. And so the more reviews you get, the higher you're going to be able to beat out your competitors. So check out trustbyreviews.com. It's a powerful way to help you generate more reviews and get them posted on multiple third-party review sites, all within one platform, and reward your clients for doing so with marketing boost incentives. So we're back with James. James, on to kind of some of my wrap up, is running a little bit out of time here. Tell me what your offer for Marketing Sage Advantage. I forgot to pull that website up. Let me go do that now. But tell us about your Marketing Sage Advantage offer.
Well, it jumpstarts your strategy. It gives you the objective information that you need to build a strategy that will actually speak to your best customers. When I used to do this kind of work with large, when I was managing, multi-7-figure budgets, we'd think nothing of spending $50,000 on a study like this, because there were focus groups and follow-up research and smart people doing the analysis, et cetera, et cetera. Most smaller businesses can't afford to spend $50,000 on a study like this. What we've used the power of AI to make this much more affordable. So if you really want to break through the noise and attract your ideal customer, you have to know what your ideal customer is thinking and worried about. And this is the tool set that you need in order to do that. So
we're on by the way, the links to this is in the show notes below, folks. Don't go right now until we're finished with the interview, but right in the show notes, you'll find the link to Marketing sageadvantage.com, which will bring you right to this page where you can begin your new marketing journey. Is there a cost or fee to start this process with you?
Yeah, the cost is $2,500.
Okay.
For the first one. And if you want to add a second one, then, because oftentimes you have more than one audience. We had a client who they manufacture organic stone ground flour. Doesn't get much nichier than that, but they've invested in this program, and we identified the two main audiences for their product, which is beginner bakers and artisan bakers. And we crafted messaging for both of these groups. We redesigned their website. We've built out a marketing program using this information. And within weeks of launching the new website and the new marketing program, their sales had increased 150% versus a year ago. And they're continuing to grow.
Wow. So the investment can pay off tenfold. What's one piece of advice you'd give to business owner right now that's feeling, overwhelmed by digital marketing? It's, you launch a business because you thought it'd be fun to do something you're passionate about. And then you get into the world of, well, you built your business, you're ready to go, you got products to sell, and maybe you're having some successes, but now you realize you got to tell the rest of the world, and it can feel overwhelming, and you throw money and it starts getting lost here, lost there, no results. What do you what do you recommend to these folks who start to become overwhelmed with digital marketing?
Well, if you're ready to move out of the scrappy marketing world where you're doing a lot of things by yourself and you've had some success, that's when you need to look for a marketing resource. Now, there's a concept called the fractional CMO. You probably can't and probably shouldn't hire a full-time CMO, chief marketing officer, right? First of all, can get very expensive. Second of all, if your business is still relatively small, they're going to get bored and disappear. The fractional CMO is a great way to bring that marketing wisdom into the mix and take your marketing to the next level. The other thing you want to think about is if you're hiring a marketing services resource, if you're at that stage, don't spend a lot of time looking at their creative. Everybody can make pretty ads. Pretty ads don't break through the noise. They're just pretty. Strategic ads break through the noise. So interview the marketing services resources you're considering, understand their depth of knowledge when it comes to marketing and marketing strategy. And the old direct marketing axiom, which you should get embroidered and put on your wall or printed, get the right message to the right person at the right time.
Absolutely.
Marketing's no more complicated than that.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. How can listeners contact you, James? What's the best way to get a hold of you for people to follow up and hire your team or consider hiring your team to help with all of this? I imagine that's part of what you do.
Absolutely. I love to talk to business owners because I learn so much about the challenges that they're facing. So if you go to VIPchatwithjames.com, you can grab a time on my calendar for a quick virtual coffee, and I'll be happy to talk to you about your business and your marketing and the challenges you're facing. VIPchatwithjames.com.
Those notes are down below in the show notes. And as we wrap up here, guys, I want to just kind of go through summary of some of the things we talked about today. You've got to, one, have a strategy of who and why you're marketing to. Who are you marketing to and why? What's your plan? How and when? Second, measurement. Make sure you've got the tracking pixels put in the right places. Hire somebody to help you do that properly so that you can track and measure everything you're doing with online advertising. By the way, that's the best part of online advertising, is that unlike throwing ads on billboards or unlike magazine ads or a lot of different ways, it's hard to measure return on investment. It's hard to measure whether you're getting a direct response like you want to with a lot of different media, but not with most online media. If done properly, you can track it. People, your website, stop thinking call to action was what James mentioned. Stop thinking call to action and think about people like you, pathways, inviting a subject to learn more info and take different paths on your website. And those individual paths become your sales marketing funnels. Let's see. We talked about real quick here. Some of these were so powerful and stuff. I wanted to just review it again here. You offer an idea to record your clients with buyer's journey map. And so you want to go look at that, folks. So you can follow the links below to how you can get the idea on how to use AI to create a real buyer's journey map. Don't forget the measure tracking, 6 ways in 6 seconds. You got to speed up your website, make sure it's optimized for speed, because you got 3 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds to get people's attention and show them how you solve the problem. Fourth, give people measurement to believe. It's social proof. Make sure you got testimonials. Make the content easy to read. And if you're hiring a marketing agency, don't look at their pretty creatives. Look at, do they bring strategy to the table? And if they don't, look up James. His team can. Folks, James, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. If you've been listening to us today for the first time, we love you and thank you for listening to the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast. If you like the content we brought you, I've got a huge favor to ask. Give us a like down below. Give us a review of this particular episode. And more importantly, share this link with somebody, some other entrepreneur who might be looking for ways to improve their website. Anybody could, these strategies we went through are enough to get somebody thinking in the right direction to improve their website, their landing pages, their funnel, their marketing strategies, their tracking. And if they implement just a few of these things, it can make a huge difference in profitability so they can afford to hire the fractional CMO, for example, and start scaling even faster. Again, if you like the content we brought you, share, like, and subscribe to the show. James, do you have any final words of wisdom for entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah. Stop trying to boil the ocean.
Find your pond and stick to that, huh?
Yep. And figure out what's working. Do more of that.
Yeah, be a big fish in a small pond instead of, and then you can start, getting into the lakes and getting into the moving down into the Gulf and so on. James, it's been a huge pleasure to have you on the show. I thank you for your time and for all this wisdom for our community. And we'll see you folks on the next episode of the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast. By the way, all you got to do is click down here or down here and see you in the next show. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.